Hey guys, welcome back to Chai with Ping. This is Ping. Thank you for tuning in again this week for another episode. Alright, first of all, I would like to read some comments from the listener. So this is from Laura. She said, I just wanted to reach out and let you know that what an amazing job you're doing with your podcasts. You're inspiring and expanding the views of those who that hear your podcast, which I believe makes us better people and a better society. Thank you for your hard work and being you. I'm so glad my daughter Catherine became friends with you. Thank you, Laura. So Laura is the mother of Kat, whose episode will be in the episode note. She had 2 episodes with me. Her first episode is episode 47. She talked about returning from Korea to the US during COVID. And then later, after some time, she did another episode with me talking about her growing up as a farm kid in episode 62. So if you're interested in listening cast episodes, I'll put it in the episode note. So thank you, Laura, for that encouragement because well, I think I can start actually with some of live updates recently. It hasn't been very easy for me to do this podcast because comparatively, my Mandarin podcast has been thriving a lot and there are a lot of listeners and it just doesn't seem that there is an end to my saved episodes. So I have multiple episodes saved up in the stock, and I just enjoy talking to people who I know or who I don't know. Mostly still in Mandarin channels, there are a lot of people that I know and I talk to friends, and so that's a different vibe. But for the English channel, to be honest, I moved to the US 4 years ago in 2017, so I don't really know that many people speaking English or to be close enough to invite them on my show. And then I guess a lot of people wanted to talk about serious topics, and I am intrigued and interested in talking about those kinds of topics. However, it just this is episode 65 and it's my chai time. So actually after this, I felt like I'm stuck a little bit. I probably need to take a break or so until I find more guests and talk about different things. So yeah, listeners, if you have stories or you want to refer some other people, feel free to refer them to me because, this is the season for me to record more episodes for next year. And I'm also kind of struggling with the topics and also the focus on my podcast. I think it's pretty obvious for me as a content creator. However, the growth of this podcast hasn't been as much as I wanted to. And also, I felt like I shouldn't be comparing 2 podcasts together, like the Mandarin and English. One is my native tongue, and then I have a huge community back in Taiwan or around the world. But English is just something that I started doing this last year, and I'm still trying to make my network in the English world. So yeah, I mean, I guess this is just something that many content creators will go through, and thinking about a niche, deciding on topics and guests. I guess that's just a normal process that I have go through. Well, so without further ado, today's topic, I'm gonna talk about my reflection on working remotely, and I will be talking about, some of the benefits and some of the considerations. So let's get started. Welcome to Chai with Ping. This is Ping Robert. In this podcast, I cover immigrant stories, cross-cultural experiences, and minority issues. Join me with a cup of chai and take a listen. So a lot of people actually already asked me about this topic, mainly the people who weren't able to work remotely, and I felt like this could be a great reflection for me to talk about. But before I start, I would like to ask you to subscribe and follow me on whatever app that you're using to listen to this podcast. And also, I'm on the social media on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow me there. If you like to listen to things on YouTube, I'm also there by searching Chai with Ping, or the link is in the episode notes. So your subscription, your following or sharing, it really means a lot to me, to encourage me and support me doing this work, because you guys help me to expand to the community that might like my content. So I really appreciate you doing that. All right, let's get started. What are the benefits? So before we get started, let's get started. Actually, I started working remotely since 2019, even before COVID hit, because I was doing online tutoring. In my grad school, I studied teaching Chinese as a second language, so we kind of learned a little bit about online tutoring, online teaching, and then there are some tips and perks, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert for that, because in 2019, when I receive and recruit students, I also learn from scratch. There are lots of resources, not in Mandarin learning, but in English teaching. So I started there on YouTube. A lot of teachers kind of share their demonstrations, and they give some of the tips and what props to use and all that. So I kind of learned from there. And especially the students' demographic kind of drastically changed in 2019 since moving online. So I got about 7 kids from different areas in the US, and then we were all doing kind of like a beginner Mandarin learning. And then usually we just meet online 30 minutes a day, and then maybe 2 sessions a week, depending on the needs. And then so I will prepare the material and just teach them through Zoom, and I can record some of the videos for them and send resources to their family as well. So learning remotely is not something very foreign to me, and especially in my doctoral program, we have been doing some of the online sessions as well. So for example, like we will probably have 1 or 2 sessions out of a quarter that the whole class meet online, or doing presentation or zooming in when there are students who need to be out of town. And so that kind of mode of taking classes is already there. So then when I shifted to the whole remote work in 2020 March for classes and for my work on campus, I really didn't feel there was a huge shift. Of course, I think the biggest change is my social life. I couldn't meet any of my classmates, my workmates. I started a new job that summer, and I didn't meet anyone in the office until later 2021. So that was a big challenge for me, because like even church had moved online. And so that's just something we can think about, like what we like to do. For me, I think working online is okay. Working from home is relaxing, and then I feel it's more efficient. However, the social piece, I kind of needed to make it up for it. So yes, one of the benefit of working remotely is that I can actually check in and check out on time. But this is just for my context. I know that many people in the past year have been working a lot more when they're working remotely. So for my context, I work in a university for Language Center and the International House. So there's a specific timing that I clock in and out. And I guess in higher education, it's more flexible than many. And as we all shifted online, so the work has been changed through different modalities and content as well. So I could even save more time getting to work or getting out of work. And for teaching, I felt like it's great because I don't have to prepare my home to be presentable, or for student coming in, or to avoid kind of the noise or the sounds for my family if they're home. However, as I mentioned, I could not meet my students. So that kind of make me a little unsafe or like lack of security. Especially I had a course from UC Denver. It's completely remote and online, so I didn't see any of my students unless they actually came to my office hours. So I just felt like it is great that everything is done online on Canvas and they can finish their assignments. I grade them and things will not be delayed in that way. However, I didn't see that personal touch in my classroom. Then the third one I felt is convenient because I didn't have to pack my lunch. Sometimes when I go to the campus, I need to bring lunch and dinner for the evening class. But working remotely, I have more time to prepare food and eat more healthy. So that's the food consideration. And also, it saves a lot of time for me just to be at home and start working. I used to live about 30 minutes of drive from my campus, but I used to take the public transportation, so bus and the train. So it'll take about an hour and a half for me to actually get to campus or come back home. So commuting was a big thing. Since I started working remotely, I save a lot of time commuting and also just energy in general. And I felt like I can actually focus on many things at home, like for example, taking care of the plants and exercising at home. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that we can work from home, and it's so fun. If you happen to have a basement, so that could be a great place for you to jump and do weight training and all that. I find it really helpful and efficient because most of the videos I watch and follow is like 30 minutes. And how much time do we actually spend on working out? 30 minutes a day, so it's pretty doable. And the other point I felt like being at home and work is to save more time, not just for commuting, is also I didn't have to stick with my computer. A lot of times that I receive emails or get back to them, or I handle documents at my work. However, there is also a downtime for that. Not always there's a huge traffic, but in the office, I just had to stay there, right? Like right now, I'm going into office. Even if I don't have much to do, I have to stick with it. But at home, I actually have the flexibility maybe to cook, to clean the house, to do some laundry, and just like multitasking. So that's one of the benefits I enjoy. The last one I thought about for those introverts. I feel like maybe I'm not completely introvert or extrovert. I'm the ambivert type of people, type of person. Because here I listed I don't have to talk to my coworkers. That sounds really like a loner, but I am not that introverted, I have to say. I just felt like because working in an office environment that we kind of just like bump into each other's office and then talk about questions and all that. So then it's easily distracting. So for example, I always go to my boss when I have questions in the office. But if I am online, then I can shoot them in the message and they can get back to me when they can. So of course, sometimes it doesn't really take that much that much time for me to get back to them or them getting back to me. But I just felt like the independence, also the space of not getting distracted, is a good thing for me. It's like I can focus this time. All right, if I don't get a feedback, I can work on the other things. Or once while I'm still waiting for my coworkers to get back to me, I can do something else. So then I felt that's something good for my time management. All right, so the second part that I'm gonna talk about is the considerations. I don't think remote work suits for everyone. I like to work independently, on projects or my homework, I don't really like to keep talking to each other a lot. I felt like if we designate different pieces of the work and then we can work on ourselves and get back together for another meeting, it will be efficient. However, it's not for everyone because I know some of the people would like to check in with their teammates a lot more than I do. So I think knowing one's work or learning style really matters, and that can help us to choose the suitable modality of work. And second of all, sometimes, so I talked about multitasking before. I could be working and planting, taking care of plants or cooking or doing laundry at the same time. However, not always it's a good thing. So, for example, if I have a meeting on Zoom and I open up another window to check my emails, then I would very likely only focus on my emailing instead of that meeting. So then there was an example that I had a work meeting and I was just there and handling emails and all that. I couldn't even hear what my colleagues were saying. And then once they said that, all right, so this part, Ping, can you handle it? And I'm like, sorry, I wasn't there. Can anyone kind of recap for me? So that was embarrassing. So multitasking kind of take away our focus and concentration. So I would say considering what things can be multitasked. For example, if I'm working out or doing chores, or doing grocery shopping or driving or cooking, these kind of tests, it doesn't require that much attention to detail. So then I can definitely listen to podcasts or music or talk to my family, people on the phone. So I feel like these are the things I can multitask. And yeah, I mean, we can always think about like what works better for us and then make that choice. All right. The third one is some of the things we need to use email to communicate. Sometimes a phone call or a Zoom meeting or even just a text might work better and more efficiently. I realized that some of the meetings we don't actually require a meeting. Maybe it's just an email can actually sort out a lot of things. So I felt like we should have that discernment for what kind of communication can be used to save our time. For example, I used to work in a Chinese school and all the work communication is done through email. And we also have a line group. So texting each other, group text is pretty helpful. And also it's cross time zones, saves a lot of energy. So that really works for my job. But the other job, for example, I work as a graduate assistant at the international house. I think a weekly check-in meeting can actually help me to build our relationship or just checking with the work and with the projects that we are working in. But it probably just take about 30 minutes to check in. It doesn't really require an hour meeting. So that's something that I realized that setting expectation with teammates or coworkers can be pretty helpful. All right, number 4, the sense of ritual. I'm not sure if this is the right word to say it, but setting a ritual for ourselves have been proven, I guess, psychologically efficient. So a lot of people ask like, do I just wear my pajama and head home off? I used to do that for a week or so. Then I didn't feel right because I just felt like I still feel very lazy and then just not even prepared to work. So then after I get up, I usually get changed. I clean up myself and then I don't wear something fancy, but it's just something presentable that if anyone wants to knock on the door, I can actually answer the door easily without worrying if I need to change. I don't put on too much makeup, but some of the moisturizer or comb my hair and put it in a ponytail, that kind of thing. To kind of set a zone for my mind is like after I change, my work starts and my day starts. And I felt like making tea. I always make some hot water and to make some tea for me before work, and that's just the amount of water I have to drink for that day. So then I don't need to worry about it throughout the day. I just keep pouring from that jug. And then the other one, I think this is more for studying because right now, if you don't know, I'm a doctoral student who's writing the dissertation. So it requires like every little concentration throughout for about 1 to 2 hours a day. So that's my goal. I cannot work too long on my dissertation because it requires a lot of mind energy, and then I can't really just read or write for more than 2 hours. So then I use this technique called Pomodoro technique. I'll leave a link below in the episode notes, so if you're interested, you can actually see the YouTube video. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian. I think the person who created it used to have a timer, which is looking like a tomato. So basically it's using the mindset of 25 minutes work concentration, and then we are required to take 5 minutes break, and then we rotate that cycle, and then another 25 minutes work and 5 minutes break. So usually I repeat 4 cycles, 4 cycles, and then so I do 2 hours of work time. And I felt it's really, really beneficial for me because I am forced to leave my computer when that 5 minutes is there. And then I set a timer and I come back after 5 minutes. In the meantime, I can also play my music. Some of the music on YouTube, they actually have the Pomodoro timer set in already. So it's really helpful for me, like listen to that lo-fi music. Yeah, recently I'm really into that groove. And then kind of create that sense of work and focus zone for me to write and read. So yeah, I felt this is some of the tip that I will share with you. And the last one, I felt sometimes facing work, projects, and homework, or even just my dissertation, it is a little intimidating. It could feel so overwhelming because it's a huge thing to do. It's okay to have some ambition, but it's also great to celebrate for little success, right? So then I usually feel like, all right, so if I do 30 minutes of studying or just write a paragraph for today, then I'm good, because like doing something is better than nothing, and that kind of gives me a comfort and also an affirmation because I achieved something, even it's just 30 minutes of reading or writing. But sometimes when I'm in that zone, I leave out that stress of focusing on 2 hours, then I usually will pass that time limit, and then it's like, oh, it's already 25 minutes, I think I can do another round. So I feel like that mentality shift really helps me. Yeah, so this is about it. My point about working remotely, and also that applies to studying remotely. So I first talked about some benefits, and then later in the second section, I talk about considerations. I would say as a conclusion that knowing ourselves can actually help us to work and study better. Not everything is for everyone. So find out what works in favor for you, and then communicate that need to others might actually help you to become a better worker or student. So if you like this content, please let me know or share with your friends. I really want to expand my listener fan base, and I look forward to chatting or interacting with you. If you like my show, please do rate and give a review on Apple Podcast, and I would really appreciate your feedback as well. So until next time, bye! Thanks for listening to Chai with Ping. If you think someone will benefit from this episode, don't forget to share it with them. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you like my show, you can buy me some chai with small donations. Details are in the episode notes. Till next time!